What's up guys, Ryan here at Signature Edits, and inside of this photography tutorial, I'm super excited to be bringing you some information from photographers who are not me. I'm going to be handing off the microphone to a bunch of really amazing photographers that I've had the privilege of connecting with, and basically reached out, said, hey, if you were starting all this over again, you're learning photography from the ground up, what is the one piece of advice you would want to give to your future self, to your past self, to whatever self, the self that is learning photography? Hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. I know it was super helpful for me. I learned a ton out of listening to these guys, their feedback, their advice. So I'm going to hit that intro and we're going to get into it today. You ready? Let's go.
What is up, everyone? Ryan, thanks so much for reaching out to me, buddy. Great to hear from you. So Ryan asked, what are my top tips for photographers in 2022? I would say for any of the sports and wildlife photographers out there, make sure that you're getting the right shutter speed dialed in your camera. You really don't want to shoot anything above 200th of a second. Keep it in the 80th, 120 zone. Keep the ISO between 6,400 and 10,000 and just spray and pray. I mean, if you have a good camera, I got the R5, R3, any of those high-end ones, like, you're guaranteed to get a good shot. So just keep shooting people, stay safe.
Hey Ryan, thanks for asking for my top tip. My number one top tip for photographers, and something I get asked often, is JPEG or RAW? JPEG. Why? Because better flexibility in post, smaller file sizes, less noise. There's endless reasons. So just remember, JPEG over RAW, it's the law.
Hey guys, my name's Curtis and this is Chelsea.
And our best portrait photography tip is to never shoot below f8.
If you shoot below f8 when taking portraits, you might have a very blurry background and you're not going to be able to get all those details in the surrounding environment.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Amar. Pro tip for the day. Let's demystify the tone curve a little bit. Let you in on a little secret. It's really just a random graph. There's no rhyme or rhythm to it. We just kind of play around with it and see what works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. My secret? I play connect the dots. So the crazier the shape comes out, usually the cooler the edit does too. So play with that. Good luck.
Here to give you a quick tip in Lightroom today. Most people don't realize that with the newest update in Adobe Lightroom, saturation isn't quite what it used to be. Let me show you what you gotta do. So once you get your photo to a place that you like it, you're gonna have to drag this saturation slider over. You're going to export the photo. You're going to re-import the photo. Drag the slider to 100% again. There we go. Looks great.
As you can see, so much gold inside of that video. I hope that it was helpful for you, knowing that you need to shoot in JPEG. Make sure that your ISO is at least 16,000. You want to use those fisheyes if you're taking landscapes, real estate photos, and of course, always shoot above f8. Now, there's so much of, it's just so much in there that I'm gonna have to go back through and listen again and again and again. And I know that this video has at least changed a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing with my photography moving forward. Now, in addition to those guys and the wisdom that they had, there's a couple friends of mine who didn't have the time to actually make the video for me, but did send through a little bit of feedback. So one of them is Jamie Out. Awesome guy. If you ever see his photos, unreal. As you can see, like, his number one tip when it comes to landscape photography, always use a 7200. Like, that is the go-to lens if you're trying to do landscapes and nature outdoors. And this is the thing that I really didn't get before having conversations with Jamie, just being like, Jamie, what actually allowed you to capture these shots? And as you go through, like, you can just see, okay, this is definitely telephoto, 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 telephoto. Like, that's how he's getting these amazing compositions, is he's always carrying around his 7200. It's like the only lens he ever uses. Another thing from Daniel Hahn, great friend of mine down in LA. This guy is a legend. Now, he's kind of very, very similar. He's always on the telephoto lens, and he always makes sure to shoot at ISO 16,000 or higher. Now, the reason for him is because he really has this kind of filmic nostalgic vibe, and by making sure you crank your ISO like as high as it goes, you make sure you get that nice filmic grain. One last guy, we'll just take a look at Curtis and Chelsea. Like, honestly, how could you take better photos than this? One of their top tips was actually, if you do have a cat and you're a photographer, you have this cat, make sure that you bring that cat with you, or at least a little bit of its hair, and just rub it on the lens before you shoot. And by doing that, you'll make sure that you get way, way better bokeh, because cats like to play with balls, and balls sounds kind of like bokeh, and so you wind up getting this really amazing creamy effect just by putting a little bit of cat hair in front of the lens. That's actually where the word bokeh comes from. It means cat hair in Japanese. So anyways, all those tips. I don't want to make this video too long because there's so much gold already. You're gonna have to go back and watch it over again. And if you haven't been able to figure it out so far, that was an April Fool's video. Thanks so much to the amazing friends of mine who managed to pitch in last minute and put something together. I hope this was helpful in some way, shape, or form in at least knowing what not to do, if not what to do. We'll maybe do an actual photography tips video in the future. If you're interested, leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody.